We're recording. You're listening to the Tune Up and Jam podcast. Ready? Go.
Welcome, everybody. Tune Up and Jam. I lost track of the episode number, so let's just roll with it.
Tune Up and Jam.
All right. Tune up, turn up, get down and start jamming once again. Hello and hairete. Francis, I hope I said that right. It's the Tune Up and Jam podcast. My name is Rich.
How should I know?
That tells me I must have said it right if you happen to know. Do you know?
No, I have no idea.
I didn't say that?
No, well, what are you trying to say?
I was trying to say hello in Greek.
Haidate?
Hairete? This is what Google told me.
Oh, you mean
Hairete?
hairete. Hairete. Just say Yasu.
Yasu. To my left, Yasu, Chris.
Yasu and Hedete.
And to my right, Francis, who corrected me. I feel like I did something wrong, like a little schoolboy who messed up.
Yasu, Rich. Yasu.
Yasu. And across from me, Alexa Yasu.
Yasu.
How's it going?
So good.
Good. This is our second episode with Alexa, and
Yes.
it's going well. So bad. She didn't leave us yet. She didn't get up and walk out.
No.
But it was close. I saw it.
Yeah,
I know, we got
She thought about it.
very heated in our last discussion.
It was like, hurry up and hit record before she can get up and leave.
No, what you didn't see in the last episode was the piercing eyes from everybody. It's like, that's crazy talk.
I mean,
What are you
we're
talking about?
very passionate about what we believe. I'm glad we all have different opinions about it.
Yeah.
We're not just following the status quo over here.
That's right.
Exactly.
I just want to get
We're
paid.
outliers.
Show me the money.
Not me. I don't want to get paid. No,
I just do it for the love.
Yeah. So anyway, we have a new topic for today, or
We do?
something like that. We're going to do some sort of lists today. Is that true? Is this a rumor? Or am
Yeah,
I
you
thinking
know,
correctly?
yeah. I just figured let's just go around and talk about our favorite this and that, and then maybe somebody might get something out of it and discover something that perhaps they haven't heard before.
I'm
some good
kind of
listening.
stoked for this. I'm kind of stoked.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Really? Well, you feel like getting it started with something?
Oh, how about this? Top 5 albums. Like top 5 albums that moved you, made you like.
Us personally,
You're still
or just
listening.
in general?
No, I'm saying like you
You.
personally, like the top 5 albums that you
What
were like,
makes Rich
this is what I'm
tick?
listening to.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right, who wants to go?
Chris.
Should we do one at a time, maybe?
Yeah,
Let's do one at a time.
I like that.
Is this going to be also a battle at the end? Are we going to
Quick.
rank all top 5? And see
No,
who
no,
wins, or
no.
like
No, the show will never end if we
Yeah.
do it that way. We just got to, hear it out, be as non-judgmental as possible, even though we know we're going to judge.
Especially me, probably.
Especially Alexa.
Okay, and are we doing this like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, like in that order? Or can we
I
just say,
cannot.
I don't know
Yeah.
if I can.
I don't know if I can. I think
Yeah.
I have 5 that are all one,
Really?
like number 1 to me. I don't know.
Okay,
maybe
so
not.
we're not going to do like
So-
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
No.
Yeah, none of us can really
well,
do that.
well, so Chris, go for it.
Okay,
then.
so I'm going to start. I'm going to say the album Moondance by Van Morrison
yeah.
is like one of my all-time favorite albums and has just amazing track after amazing track. I think it's super unique. It's an album. I think when you put on Van Morrison, you instantly know, hey, this is Van Morrison, and it's funky and soulful, but it's also accessible and kind of folky, I guess. So Moondance, definitely Van Morrison. Mark it down. If you don't have the album, you should really get it.
Can I go next?
Go next. We'll go. We can go counterclockwise.
Okay. All right, cool. So I got to say Paul's Boutique from the Beastie Boys. At first, nobody really understood it, and it was not very well received by pretty much anybody because it was their second effort after License to Ill, which was their kind of big party. Everybody knows that one. Fight for Your Right to Party, Paul Revere's on that one. But when you come out to Paul's Boutique, which was done with the Dust Brothers, it had basically, I don't know, several hundred samples. I mean, the whole album was completely sampled. It was completely brand new. It was the lyrics, the way that they would trade off their vocals and things like that was just completely revolutionary, and people didn't understand it. It was way ahead of its time.
Oh.
And it took a long time for people to really catch on to it. It really only sold like maybe 100,000 copies when it came out for the first few years. It just wasn't very well received. But in this day and age, it's really looked upon as like one of the classic hip hop albums. And
I think it is the quintessential Beasties
Yeah.
album for sure. And
Yeah.
I've heard that they can't even catalog all the samples that were used on it.
yeah, I don't think, and I think actually that album could not be made today
No,
because of all the samples.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to say you just took one off my list. That's right up there.
What does that mean? You're only going to do 4 now?
I'm only going to do
Yeah.
4 because I couldn't.
Yeah, can we agree? Because I think Francis and I might have 1 or 2 also. So can we agree that if somebody says one,
You're tapped out.
yeah.
You don't have to come up with something else
Okay,
to
all
try
right,
to
cool.
be like, oh,
All right, cool. Yeah,
No, that was too easy.
we'll be here forever anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Francis, though.
I have to say Metallica's Master of Puppets.
I knew it.
See, he knows. He knows
That
it.
was my other one.
It was it.
There's no one knows this, but there's a Metallica fake. What is it? Stage?
Well,
box?
actually, what it is, it was a package. It's called Live and Binge and Purge. It was at the time it was released. There are a couple of VHS tapes in there of a live concert.
Wow.
Has some art, some kind of like a photo booklet, I think a couple of CDs from the live shows. But yeah, it for me, like 80s Metallica, they could do no wrong. You know.
Nice.
But it's specifically though the 80s, and so Master of Puppets is just growing up as a metalhead. When that album came out, it just sounded like nothing else. I mean, it was very metal, but so different from anything else that was out there at the time, and so it resonated with me, and it still to this day remains one of my favorites.
And can I add on that just
Go
the
ahead.
rhythm guitar playing by James Hetfield back in those days was just unparalleled, man.
Yeah,
His razor sharp. If I could be a guitarist in a metal band, it would be Hetfield with the rhythm guitars. I loved his rhythm guitar playing, especially on Master of Puppets. And in fact, by the way, crazy fact, today is the anniversary of Cliff Burton's death
wow.
in the bus crash.
Yeah, I mean, we would. I guess we would say original bassist in the sense that how a lot of fans know Metallica, because there was what is his name, McGovney. There was a bassist prior. I don't know if there's 1 or 2 bassists prior, but the one that really made a difference and made Metallica who they were coming up in the 80s, it was Cliff Burton. So there you go. That's my first album, Alexa.
I'm gonna go with Rumors, Fleetwood Mac. I have a record player and a bunch of records sitting on my floor right now, and that's on the top. I just keep playing it over and over, and Lindsey Buckingham, Stevie Nicks, and the harmonies, and the cover is just so awesome. Like they just look cool. It's just seeping out. It's black and white, and they're like it's all the dancing and stuff. It's very cool. So I'm gonna go with that one.
It's a great album. Great album. I'm going to go with my next one, Axis Bold as Love, Jimi Hendrix.
Nice.
Another second record after a hugely, wildly successful first record that I don't know if it was as well received. It certainly didn't have as many hits on it, but just conceptually an amazing album. And the title track, Bold as Love, is like one of my favorite songs ever. And the way at the end they just flange out like the drums and everything is epic. Love it. Could listen to it every day. And did for many years.
Okay, I'm going to steal one from somebody probably. Thriller, Michael
I was
Jackson.
gonna say, but I was like, that's super cliche.
It is, but I mean, it's true. I mean, I remember when it first
Hit
came
after
out.
hit
I
after hit.
do remember when it came out and having that first listen to the beginning of Beat It and being like, oh, that's cool. You know, that intro that he had, and then the beat at the very beginning of Billie Jean is just I can remember like almost the moments that I heard that and going, oh man, that's good stuff. Because I was really young and I didn't really remember Off the Wall. You know, I didn't know but I was old enough to recognize when Thriller came out.
And Thriller was more syncopated, and Off the Wall was a little more rhythmic. Both, I think, produced by Quincy Jones, but Thriller had a total, all his beatboxing that I don't think was as prominent on Off the Wall.
Yeah. And more rocking. Like I think
Yeah.
he was definitely making an
Hits.
attempt to be this mainstream rock thing too.
Yeah,
I
Van Halen.
would have never thought of that album, but now that you say it, I'm like, yeah, that's you overlook it because it was so successful. I mean, it's
everybody,
literally the biggest album of all time. I don't think in money but it was so influential.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody was putting on a bespeckled silver glove and doing the moonwalk.
But do you remember? Did you happen to watch that Motown special? When he actually, I remember watching that Motown special live when he did that moonwalk, and I swore that he floated on that stage. Like I can remember that. And you're right, as cliched as it is, it really did affect me.
And I still like
young,
like the song "Human Nature" is. I love that song. It's one of my favorites. And strangely enough, because I have one of my children with me, they love that album. Like they dance to that album and they go crazy with it.
What's your favorite song? Michael Jackson, Thriller?
Yeah, probably Thriller. Thriller beat it.
Did you ever see the video for Thriller?
No.
It's pretty awesome.
You might have to be a little older. It might give you nightmares.
Probably freaked out.
It's a good
I'm
one.
still freaked out watching it. Like,
it's a good one, though. It's a good one. I remember watching the making of it, too. It was always on HBO back in those days.
Yeah, it's huge.
Francito.
Yeah, probably should see that.
Yeah, you should. It's a good one.
I'm sure it's on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
For my next album, I'm gonna go with Rush Moving Pictures.
I had that one too.
Yeah. All right. It's that was actually growing up. My brother, who's a year older, he was the one who basically bought the albums in the house for him and I, and it was the first album that I had purchased on my own. Going into the record store. I mean, technically...
That's a good question.
What's that?
First album you ever purchased on your own.
Yeah, on my own. So it was, but I have to say, technically it was a cassette.
Right.
It was because at the time we were buying both records and cassettes, and it just so happened, actually it was in Hawaii at that time, and I remember it was this radio station called 98 Rock, and where I first heard a couple things from Rush. And so when I walked into the record store, saw Moving Pictures, and again, like Master of Puppets, to this day, it's still one of my all-time favorites.
Dig it.
Nice. I'm going to go with Continuum, John Mayer.
Excellent choice.
Like I always say, if I was deserted on an island, I need that record there because it's just so good. Like Gravity, Bold as Love, I think is on there, his version. Just so many good ones. Vultures. Right.
Is that with the trio?
No.
No, it isn't.
It was just
that was when he came out after that or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
the album before. I think it was Heavier Things.
Yeah.
That was the album where I first just caught it. My ear caught something with him. I was like, this is something. This guy's doing something very interesting, and I like the songwriting. And it's
such a good.
It was so good. And so by the time Continuum came out, I was fully aware of him.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I made it a point. Let me find out what this album is, or what's on it, and let's just listen to it. No, it's really good.
Yeah.
And Steve Jordan was playing drums with them. Like for me,
and producing. I think he might have produced some.
He played for I was fortunate enough to see him with, and I was like, oh,
uber talented.
So good.
Yeah, and then I think the trio came after, or the album was it Try?
I don't know.
John JM3, but anyways, Continuum is.
Well, that's a great segue actually, because one of my top 5 is the Blues Brothers Briefcase Full of Blues, which is it was super influential for me in getting it because I hadn't seen the movie at the time, and my friend's dad had it in the car, and I loved it. I loved all of it. And I had no idea it was like the Saturday Night Live band and all this stuff, but Steve Jordan played drums on it, and it was definitely a lot of songs taken from other blues artists, but I just love the take on it, and I love the way, I love the movie now. I love the musical culture that it kind of helped to continue to inspire. And I've never been in a musical situation where Blues Brothers references weren't thrown around often, and it's just a great album.
Okay, I am going to go with "The Queen Is Dead" by the Smiths. I don't know if anybody here is a Smiths fan. or
No.
a Morrissey fan, or if you even ever heard. Have you ever listened to the
them. No, just
Chris,
kidding.
to the
Chris
Smiths?
goes, no.
No, I
Are
haven't.
you not a fan because you haven't heard them, or because you don't like them? Because
No.
I know a lot of people hate them. So
No, I don't hate them. You know, it was one of those things like, being in high school in the 80s, it was like, it was a very weird thing. Like if you had on a trench coat and like shaved half your head, then you were listening to the Smiths
Or The Cure,
and the
yeah.
Dead Milkmen or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Mhm.
And if not, no, you weren't.
You either were or you weren't.
And so I never
Clearly,
really.
you weren't.
I wasn't, and I'm not trying to jog it out or anything, but it's interesting. Like
Chris would have been beating me up in high school.
I could have been expecting. I could have been expecting your first couple choices. I wouldn't have expected that one.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
Keeping us on our toes.
Yeah, because I don't. Well, does anybody here listen to the Smiths or Morrissey? Have you ever? No. It's one of those things. I know people, especially I think it's Morrissey's voice. People either, when they first hear it, they either love it or hate it. You know, I love it. I happen to love it, and I love his lyric writing. It's very tongue in cheek and very satirical and things like that. But also, people don't like his attitude as much either. He's kind of, there's that. But if you ever get a chance to listen to it, the production on it with Johnny Marr, the guitarist, he was kind of like the Jimmy Page of that group. I mean, the layering of the guitars and the producing, he was the driving force behind the production of it, and it's just really, really well done.
Is this considered new age or new wave? I mean,
yeah. I mean, that's
punk
basically no. They were the new wave back, in the mid '80s. The Queen is Dead is right along in that. There's '86, and that was The Cure, the Smiths, like all the ones you mentioned.
Yeah.
So that would be pretty much new wave, but even different than that other stuff too. It stands out.
Right.
Yeah. Well, my next one is, I have to qualify it, and I guess say it's not always easy to listen to now because it's so overplayed, but just taking a step back and realizing all the songs on there was the Eagles, Hotel California.
Mm-hmm.
Front to back, great songs, great production. I really loved it. I think at this point now, I mean, I've heard it just so many times that I can't say that I'll miss it for a while, but I have to include it just because there was a moment there when looking at all the albums, it's like every song on there is really, really good. But
Right on.
Is
That's
Lion Eyes on that?
no, that was before.
Okay. Sorry.
Get it right, with Smith. Mr. Smith.
I'm gonna go super, super new album that is just it's in my car. Like I play it every day. I've been listening to it for 2 years now. The 1975, which is a band from Manchester, England, and they played for 10 years, met in high school, gigged all in London, England, wherever they were, and would play these songs that they came up on. So it was this work that you can tell just has been so honed in, they just knew what the songs were because they've been playing them live for so many years that when they went to put it down on a record, it's just everything is thought out. There's not one thing that you don't hear that's misplaced. Everything is just, and there's so many things, amazing drums and just, it's a pop, they said they made it off of a John Hughes album. They wanted it to sound like it could be a John Hughes soundtrack, and if you listen to it, you totally get the 80s vibe from it, but there's like accents and great writing. Like if you can understand Maddie, who is the lead singer, and I still can't, and I've been listening to the album for 2 years, I'm like, I think he's saying this, but just genius lines like, I know you're looking for salvation in a secular age, but girl, I'm not your savior. Like who thinks of things like that? Like
The way you described it for a John Hughes soundtrack, the way it's like, I think I already know the sound.
Yeah.
I bet you they were Smiths fans,
Probably.
and that's where they're from too, Manchester. So, just saying.
So check that out.
I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
I'm going to couch two albums together because they're both recorded live.
Cheater.
At the Fillmore East. I know this is me getting my Paul's Boutique back. One is Jimi Hendrix and the Band of Gypsies, which
Yeah.
amazing album because, like I said, Jimi Hendrix is a huge influence musically. Love him. And then, with Buddy Miles, playing drums, it just made it so much even funkier, and it's just everything great about Jimmy, and everything funky about it. And the second one, Live at the Fillmore East, was the Allman Brothers. If you remember that album, it opened as a double album, and it had like 2 songs on one side and 3 songs on the other. And you open it up, and it was like them sitting on their gear outside, and just like for the album itself, the art that was cool to me, like that appealed. And then you listen to it, and the Allman Brothers, it was kind of in their heyday, them just being amazing and getting down. And but those 2 albums, if you haven't listened to, they're both fairly popular, I guess, so most people have heard of them. But they're great anytime, any occasion, happy, sad, party, dancing. There you go.
Cool. All right, I'm going to stick with the live theme. Live After Death, Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden. I remember that one.
I loved that. Well, I had the video first before I bought the album. There's a video and there's an album version. They're actually not exactly the same either. The album had some different songs or some extra songs and different recordings, but they recorded a hell of an album with that one, and that was one of the ones I used to listen to a lot and watch a lot. And just the whole, if you ever see the video of it, to me, an Iron Maiden concert, especially, well, they still do the same thing, but that's, to me, the perfect concert.
I was recording in Long Beach, wasn't it?
Yeah,
right.
Over 4 different nights too. But yeah, but whenever I think of the perfect rock concert, to me, it's Iron Maiden.
This one comes as absolutely
no
surprise.
shock, no shock.
No
Especially
surprise
since I said a couple of episodes ago that
all.
I would be in a heartbeat in an Iron Maiden tribute band.
Yeah.
So. And I would be Steve Harris. I watched that thing left and right, up and down, backwards, forwards, whatever. And just the whole entertainment value of it and the music. I don't know. I love it. I still love it.
Cool. My next one is Alice in Chains, Dirt. That album, it reminded me a lot of Black Sabbath, who was a huge influence of mine. But
with cool harmonies though too,
Yeah,
I mean that was interesting.
Yeah, and I felt very fortunate enough to catch them soon after. I think they did the Lollapalooza tour soon after that album. I believe it was that, if I'm not mistaken on the year. That's when they had Primus headlining. Had Fishbone on there. Alice in Chains was there. In fact, Rage Against the Machine was the first band on the set list. So yeah, Alice in Chains, Dirt. Check it out.
I'm going to go with Justin Timberlake, Future Sex Love Sounds. That came out in 2007, and he had kind of dropped off for a while. I remember his first solo record I was really excited about, and I went to, Tower Records and purchased it and everything. And then Future Sex Love Sounds came out, and he had, he still had like a shaved head, but now he was wearing suits and had this whole like vibe going, and he was bringing sexy back. No one knew it left. Like, what happened? What? How? And it was just like banger after banger, and these like my favorite to this day is all the interludes. Like, if you have not listened to the album through, like, I will zoom past the entire song, which is a hit that you hear on the radio, just to hear the end part of Love Stoned. Like, it is just gold, ear candy all day long. Like,
super talented dude.
So good.
He is extremely talented.
And produced by what's his face? I'm not
Babyface.
No.
Timbaland.
Timbaland. Yeah. Thank you.
Am I correct? Did Michael Jackson write some things that Timberlake did?
Justin Timberlake allegedly wrote. What song was it? Something that he wanted to sell to Michael, but he said, "I only want to do it if you'll sing it with me." And they never ended up making it. But it was, I don't know which Justin Timberlake. I think he went on to record it by himself.
This was because Michael died, or
yeah,
okay,
I think so.
Okay.
But I was watching an interview with Justin Timberlake the other day where he had said, we already had it in the works. We were going to record it together. and it just, he desperately wanted to do it, but we couldn't find the time, and then,
that would have been a hell of a team
Yeah.
right there. Now, so I thought I had read though that somewhere like Michael was secretly, like without credit, writing some things for Justin, but I don't know if that was true or not, or if it's just kind of something I thought.
That would be awesome.
Read something, I don't know. Anyway,
Did you read it on the internet?
probably
Everything's
yeah.
true on
I
the
know
internet.
everything
Yeah,
is true,
yeah.
and I believe everything on the internet too. So,
That's true.
yeah. The internet said I was cool, even. I believed them.
I'm gonna go, and I'm not a jazz guy by any stretch, but Kind of Blue.
Miles Davis.
is that's an amazing album front to back, and I guess for me I have to be in a specific mood, but when you're in that mood, like there's nothing better, and it's great. It's right before kind of, and some people think of kind of his later work as being more expressive or more Miles or anything when it got real crazy, but I thought this album was amazing to me. And I'm not a jazz guy. I don't know everything, but to me it was jazz that sounded, it wasn't just intricate and it wasn't just amazing playing, but it was pleasing. It was
Yeah.
cool. It just sounded
The
cool.
mood.
Everything
Yeah.
about it sounded cool. It made just like cool. I've always wanted to be able to
What was that, Bradley?
cover that.
Cool, and more cool.
That was very
That's about the
eloquent
word
of
you
him.
use when you
you
describe Miles Davis.
There you go. Yeah.
Swag.
No, that's a good one. Yeah.
I think this is my number 5. So
That was my 5.
that was
Yeah.
number 5. Okay, so I guess I want to say a couple of honorable mentions, I guess.
Yeah,
real
I
quick.
think that it's a necessity. I've already run out, but it's necessity.
So I would have to say as honorable mention maybe Dark Side of the Moon.
Yes.
There's probably anything by like Yes or Emerson, Lake and Palmer or something like that, just for the kind of nerd rock kind of stuff of me inside me,
Mhm.
But I'm gonna have to go with my other top one would be Back to Oakland by Tower of Power.
Mm.
I knew it. I was just gonna say, I can't believe you didn't pick a Tower.
Oh yeah.
I can't.
You want to talk about funk, you got to listen to Tower of Power. And, David Garibaldi, the drummer, probably one of the biggest influences on me, and his linear style of funk playing just blew me away when I first heard him. I was like, how in the heck does this guy play this kind of stuff? I have to learn how to do this. And, not to mention the rest of the band. I mean, if you want to hear perfection when they play, the horn playing, everything, the tightness, they are just absolutely an amazing band.
The bass
And,
playing,
yeah.
it's like just that fast syncopated, but so funky.
Oh, it's so funky.
What's that
so
guy's name?
funky.
Bass player's name?
I don't know.
Something Francis, wasn't it?
The bass player from Tower of Power. Oh,
Wasn't it?
But I'm also a great show too. And I got to tell you, meeting, living in LA, we've all met a celebrity here or there or something like that. And it's really, you just go about your business, whatever's not that big of a
Dated
deal.
one or two. No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
Word
know
that-
Francis has, but I still haven't yet. But
Take it to my grave.
I gotta say, when I've seen Tower of Power a couple of times, but one time,
Sorry, Francis just dropped his phone in the toilet.
he's trying to get rid of evidence, isn't he?
Oh, yes.
He
that
did
was
not want
good.
us to see who he
No,
dated.
he doesn't. All those little texts, they're gone.
Photos.
But
That's a good.
I saw Tower of Power at a small club down in Orange County, and afterwards they hung around to meet the crowd, right? And I happened to get close enough to the stage to grab a set list off the stage. So I took the set list over to them, and they were all lined up in a row, and they were kind of signing the autographs like you would when you do a meet and greet or whatever. But I completely geeked out when I got to David Garibaldi. He was last in line, and I was like, dude, I love you. You're so great. Oh my God. Like I just completely nerded out and like got all
Stalker.
yeah. I was like,
That is so
Fangirl.
awesome.
and he was like, That's nice. And he just like signed for it. And I felt like such a
stalker.
but-
Stage left.
But yeah, exactly. I got escorted out. But still, I still have the set list with those signatures.
They still have a picture of Rich at every Tower of Power
Do
show.
not
Yeah,
let
I'm not-
this
security.
guy in.
Is that why I haven't been let in for the past couple of times I went to see them?
Every footage of film.
So that's
Nice.
my number 5.
Well, I really have too many to mention. But
Yeah, Francis was looking up on the walls at
Yeah.
his CDs on the walls.
Yeah, and okay, first,
Cheating.
I
Right?
have to.
As if we're not all on our phones. Like,
Yeah.
But I have to say, Al Di Meola, Elegant Gypsy. It just, when I first became aware of Al Di Meola, it just blew me away. I mean, like I said, early on, grew up as a hard rock and metalhead, and then when I learned of Al Di Meola, basically, for those who don't know, he's a jazz rock fusion from the 70s, and that particular album, I believe it was around 76, 77. Of course, I learned about it much, much later, but that's when it was released, and that really changed my view of a lot of music that was around. I made it a point to expand beyond the hard rock and metal circles that I had been keeping myself in. So that definitely is, I would probably have to say, number one most influential for me. But with that said, I'll cheat, and I have to have these honorable mentions. I just can't let it go without it. Primus, Sailing the Seas of Cheese.
It's a good one.
Really good one. Van Halen 1. Rage Against the Machine. Actually, it could be any Rage album. Really could be any Rage album, because even the Battle of Los Angeles was incredible. But their first album really blew me away. Stevie Ray Vaughan, Couldn't Stand the Weather. All right.
I don't blame him. It's hot here.
That's beyond 5, but there you go.
all right, my
Alexis
fifth.
still has another, yeah?
Any Stevie Wonder record, but
Oh.
in particular, what has been on repeat on my player is In Square Circle, which opens with Part-Time Lover, and you're just doing the Carlton in your room. Dun, 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 dun. I literally jump around. It's embarrassing.
Do
I'm
you do the Carlton in your bedroom?
Yes, and then I bring the player out into I'm cooking. I'm dancing. I'm gonna chop my fingers off one day, and then goes into Whereabouts, which is just so good. And then Overjoyed is on it, and it's just I love Stevie Wonder. Anything he does, but that record has just
Probably one
I
of my
just
favorite
listened to
songs,
it.
Overjoyed. from him.
so good.
Kind of surprised you didn't have any Stevie Wonder on there, Chris.
I mean, you got to draw the line somewhere. Plus, I didn't know we were going to honorable mentions here.
Well, you
Yeah,
got it? Well,
we didn't get honorable mention.
well, go ahead.
Well, I would
Go for
say Sly and the Family Stone, Stand. That album was ridiculous and funky, and everything had a cool kind of meld of funk and swag. There you go. Thank you, Bradley. I would throw in like I feel like we've omitted the 90s completely
Nirvana
here.
in Utero.
Like
Why?
anything like I thought Pearl Jam's first album was ridiculous. Jane's Addiction, any of their early albums in the 90s. The second, and I can't think of the name of it, the second Porno for Pyros album was amazing. Was an amazing, amazing album. So I'll throw those in. That's my honorable mention.
Well, there's some good hip hop in the 90s too. that we
Oh,
were
yeah.
talking about. And
Yeah.
in the 80s, we really didn't.
We only glossed.
With you and I,
glossed hip hop.
as far as hip-hop.
That's a whole different show.
yeah, completely.
Well, just because we're talking about it, NWA changed the whole scene for me. I was not really into hip hop and rap, and just wasn't my thing. My cousins who were really into that broke that out, and I was like, "What is this?"
Straight out of Compton.
Straight out of Compton.
Yeah.
I was like, "All right, I'll give these guys a shot. Let me hear the whole album." Yeah, and that really changed my whole perspective on that.
Who
Yeah,
were
that-
your autumn?
That was the first NWA album I heard, even though, and then after, like, I think it was called Boys in the Hood, which was kind of like their indie release, maybe that came out here before, and
Well, I
had
know
some
they
of the
had-
same
Well,
songs
Easy
I
on
know
it.
had-
that Ethel Fazagan. There was that one, which was after Ice Cube left.
No, I'm talking. This was before.
Before?
It was before Boys in the.
Okay.
Or it was before.
I think it was
Straight Outta
Easy's.
Compton.
It was under Easy's.
But it had a lot of the same. And it was more of like an independent, and it had
Yeah,
Boys
and there
in
was
the-
different dudes on there
It had
too.
Gangster on it, and a couple others. But yeah, that was crazy on a lot of levels because number one, it was shocking. Like it's the first time you heard
Yeah.
anybody talking like this. And second, it was funky and it was really well, like the beats and the rhymes and everything put together was amazing.
Yeah.
But hip hop, that's a whole different
completely
show.
different. We don't even need to get into that right now. Do you have some
My
honorables?
honorable mentions. I said In Utero, Nirvana.
Yeah, yeah.
Alanis, Jagged Little Pill. Hello.
There's a 90s
course.
one, yeah.
Hello,
Yeah.
90s
How could we
one.
not-
How?
yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
sitting
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Gotta bring it.
That is great, yeah.
Boys to Men. I think it was the 2 record or whatever. I'll make love to you.
Yep.
That was like
Yeah.
the jam. And then Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Elton.
Elton.
Oh.
Elton John, yeah, we
That's right.
completely omitted that too.
We ditched Elton.
There is so many. You know, the more you think, I'm like, how
Yeah,
can
you're
I-
like,
oh
oh,
my
yeah,
God, there's
this
that one too,
one.
and this one, that, oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, and not one Beatles album made the list.
I know. That just
True.
went through my head too.
It's pretty amazing.
You know, as you were talking about Alanis, what popped into my head was also, what's her name? The one that died a couple of years ago.
She didn't pop into your head too
It was in and out. Now I can't remember her name.
He means
you know,
Amy Winehouse.
Back to Black, yeah. Amy Winehouse.
Oh, whoa. How did
Amy
you
Winehouse,
plug
yeah.
that one out
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
air?
I-
You guys are mind readers. It's weird.
No, but the Back to Black album is awesome.
Yeah.
Do you know that one? Anybody know that one? Back to Black? That's
No.
a good one.
Yes.
I like that one. That's a really good one.
Look at Chris. Never heard. Even though we played
Amy
a couple
who?
tunes. Yeah.
Amy who? Yeah. Nah, she's good. She was good. So I like that one too.
Mhm.
Well,
Well, right on. I think that's
That's
Pretty
Top 5
comprehensive.
albums.
Yeah, we really could go on forever because there are
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
tons of great albums. I guess these are the ones that we just have the awareness of right now. But
We'll just
Yeah.
have to keep
Popped
doing.
up in your mind.
Yep.
yeah,
Bradley's right. We'll
Bradley. Do you
to-
have a favorite album or a favorite song?
or favorite artist?
Artist?
He's like.
Right now, definitely Eminem.
Definitely Eminem.
I thought he was gonna say Megadeth.
That's Megadeth.
It's
Boy.
happening. Eminem.
Eminem.
Good one.
really.
Nice.
You want to spit some fire from Eminem?
No.
Now,
give it-
do you like him also because does it help that he's from Michigan, or is that not really count? You just like his music?
Like his music. Then I learned after that he was from Detroit.
Oh, okay.
So,
That just bumped him up.
or maybe I just knew it, but then it just didn't come to me.
Yeah.
You knew it. We know each other.
Talk about reading minds. Yeah. Well, that's cool. Eminem's a good one. That's a
Yeah.
really good one.
Well, we did a whole episode on albums. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, we
can
should
do
do
like
Top 5 lists, like
Yeah.
artists.
Periodically. Sounds
I
good.
think
We'll
we
have to
covered
do
a
a
good
speed
range, too.
round too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it would be a cool.
And no phones.
We're all very long-winded, so
Yeah.
we need to be like,
No, but we also learn a lot about each other.
Yep.
You know, like the three of us on this side of the room are looking at Rich, and it's like, okay, Morrissey, Smiths, okay. I mean, all right, you can have that if you want. I
You
guess.
guys never knew that about me, huh?
Nope.
We've known each other for years, and you still. I've come out of my Morrissey
knew.
closet.
I knew the
Alexa
whole
knew.
time.
No, I am a huge Morrissey fan. I've seen him several times live. He's awesome. I love Morrissey.
See, that's different. I would have thought, okay, yeah, he likes him, is cool. And I wouldn't think like, yeah, I've seen him.
No, I'm a
Yeah.
huge fan. I mean,
Okay,
he's
yeah.
like, well, the Smiths in general are one of my top 5 bands of all time.
Next show.
Yeah,
So
yeah, we'll have a
Bands.
Smiths Smiths show dedicated for Rich.
I think it would be interesting if folks would send us their top 5 album lists for us to check out and maybe comment on a future episode.
Totally.
That would be cool.
it would be cool.
Yeah,
We
see what-
definitely left some of the big hitters off, so someone would be, how could you not
exactly.
have said?
That's what I'm waiting for. All the emails that are like angry that
The
you know,
backlash.
yeah. How dare you leave whatever off? Sorry,
Your credibility is
sorry.
shot.
Yeah.
It's like you left the best album out. That
Yep,
was like, nah.
that's going to happen.
I know.
Yeah, so let us know what you think or what are your favorite or your top 5 albums are. You can go to Facebook. You can shoot us an email. What is it? podcast@tuneupandjam.com.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter. Or if you want to Instagram us, all your favorite album covers, the covers from the album, because that's a whole other thing.
That's
too, right?
also why I love certain record. You know,
Yeah.
if it's
Right.
so visually appealing.
Well, that used to be why you'd buy them in the first place.
Well, on Rich's list, Live After Death. I can't tell you how long I've stared at that album, looking at the little details.
Amazing.
And
I had
that's
the
not
back.
up here, yeah.
I had the patch on my back on my jean jacket. I had the
Yeah.
Live After Death cover. Oh yeah,
We have the
That's a
visual.
metalhead. Yeah.
Anyways, let us know. Keep in contact with us, and if you have any ideas for future shows, hit us up. And also, if you have any interest in getting on the show or know somebody who would be interested, let us know. Hit us up. Anything else? Any parting words, anyone?
Alexa, plugs.
Plugs, as always, www.alexamerrill.com. But both of my EPs, Aqua Vista and Heart Shaped Clock, are available on iTunes now. And maybe that will be your next top favorite album.
There you
There
go.
you go.
Nice.
All right. Peace out, everybody.
Out.